I'm just setting up here at my desk. I have quite a big reveal today to share with you guys. Actually, look at this. Isn't that a gorgeous theme aircraft for our pop-up show today? This is a Trans-Canada Airlines Avro jetliner, and it actually is pertinent to what I'm about to share with you today. Today is the big reveal, the big unpacking, the unboxing of my latest book, which I've just received by FedEx. It literally was on the doorstep this morning, and we're going to do a live unboxing, and I'm going to tell you what this is all about. I'm just going to open up the chat so I can see how you guys are doing. Bear with me for 1 second while I open that up. Hope you're all doing well, and let's have a look here. Okay, so I see we've got 19 of you in the house. I'd like to welcome you all here. Paula Day, Amy, staff nurse, one Av geek girl. Great. Well, great to see you guys here. The 3 of you anyhow, plus I think we've got some of you watching as well. So that is, that's awesome. So let me just set this up. Okay. Hang on a second. Just getting my phone. Sorry about that. I'm just getting my phone familiarized here with me. And there we go. Okay, so it's good to be here. So this is it, guys. So what I'm going to tell you about, this book is what's in this book is the most extensive Air Canada history book ever to be published in the annals of aviation history. And this book just arrived. This aircraft, the Avro jetliner, is in the book. It's a beautiful model that I have. I just wanted to use this as an intro for the book. So yeah, I'm wearing my Air Canada t-shirt to keep it appropriate for today's theme. And of course, we've got the Air Canada Viscount Kodachrome slide in the background. Now, those of you that are familiar with my work, this is the last book. It's Air Travel Time Machine. It was published earlier this year. And this new Trans-Canada Airlines book follows the same format. It's roughly 300 pages. It's a coffee table picture book, all color. So Air Travel Time Machine is all color photos. As you can see, almost 600 photos of all color. And the Trans-Canada book follows the exact same format. So basically, how did this Air Canada history book come to being? Well, this is a publication of the Clayton Glenn Memoirs. These are the original memoirs that Clayton Glenn prepared in the mid-1990s. And how did I come a hold of them, you are probably wondering. Well, I met Clayton Glenn in the mid-90s when I worked for NWTR up in Yellowknife. And he was then he was a retired Air Canada employee of probably 40 years. He started with Air Canada, or TCA, in 1943. And he was very knowledgeable on aircraft fleet planning, route planning, and he had developed a number of very comprehensive computer programs to simulate profitability over various scenarios. So I spent some time with Clayton with our own airline modeling, and at the time he shared that he had prepared these memoirs. And I was intrigued that he had worked with the company since 1943, and he was actively involved with the acquisition of pretty much every single airliner that Trans-Canada Airlines acquired from, well, the early 40s through the time he retired, and I believe it was in the probably late 80s. So all the great classics, the Lodestars, North Stars, Connie, Viscount, Vanguard, and then into the jets, DC-8, DC-9, they're all covered in detail in his memoirs. And the information in these memoirs, it's information that has been lost to the sands of time, and it's like reading it fresh because the book is presented in his own voice. So I'm going to basically open up the book with you guys live watching right now. So hello, Mike Freeman. I see, okay, we've got 19 people watching right now. And let's get the book open. I've got my trusty knife, and here we go. Let's give this to be very careful, I guess. I don't want to obviously damage the insides. And okay, well that was easy. The FedEx portion opens quickly. Okay, so that was part one is done. We've got it wrapped in a nice bubble wrap. So I'll now endeavor to get this bubble wrap off the book as quick as I can. So we can reveal this book in all its glorious splendor. I'm very excited. But I should point out that this book is 30 years in the making, because when he first showed me, when Clayton first showed me his manuscript, I couldn't believe, you know, that the information contained would present such an amazing history, and it's never been written in this way before. So there have been other Air Canada histories, but they tend to be lots of words, not many photos and illustrations. So this book breaks that mold and is just loaded with images, many of them never seen, never published before. So the book was well packaged for its journey to Canada. Let's have a look. Okay. Wow, here we go. We're getting there. We are getting there. So here it is, wrapped in paper. The final wrap here. Let's just get this off. I'm going as quick as I can. As I said, I don't want to damage the contents underneath. I have to be careful. Okay. Okay, wow. So here we go. So as you can see, it's the exact same thickness and dimensions as Air Travel Time Machine. And here we go. You guys are going to see it. Actually, you're going to see the cover before me. I'm super excited for you guys. Wow. Look at this. So the title of the book is From Lodestars to Jets, Clayton H. Glenn TCA Memoirs, 1943 to 1964. And it's presented by myself, Henry Tenby. And look at here's the back. Beautiful images on the back. We have TCA Connie's, DC-8, North Star, and Lodestar. And of course we have a beautiful image of a TCA Vickers Vanguard on the cover, looking absolutely stunning. So the books are being packaged and delivered from the factory in shrink wrap. As you can see, they're secure in shrink wrap so that when they're shipped, no moisture will no moisture will invade the book and cause damage. So now with my knife, I'm going to open it up. Somebody mentions a PWA book. Yes, a PWA book would be a good idea. I do have a number of information booklets and books and magazines and images and annual reports on Pacific Western Airlines. But I do think that Air Canada TCA is certainly a bigger market, and the success of this book would be a determining factor in my doing other books that are airline history related. So we'll have to see how this goes. I should point out, I have only printed 400 of these books. So it's a very limited production run. 600 of air travel were printed, only 400 of the Clayton Glenn book were printed. So I'm now going to open it up. We're going to remove the shrink wrap with you guys watching, and we're going to have a look at the book together and see what it's all about. So I'm just going. Wow, this is the most exciting. These moments right now are the most exciting moments when you actually see the book for the very first time. So yeah, it's a hardcover. Look at this. Yeah. I'm gonna look at it. We're gonna open it. We're gonna go through the book together. I'm just gonna come around to behind the camera here, and we're going to check it out. By the way, I have posted a link, a pre-order link, purchase link, on the YouTube page in the item description where you can actually pre-order the book. So let us together have a walk through this book and see what it's about. So, just give me 1 second here, guys. Together and have a look. So here we go. Okay, I'll bring that a little closer. So here we go. Let's have a look at this book. I'll move my phone out of the way here. Yeah, so isn't that a beautiful shot? Toronto Island Airport, I believe. That's our opening center spread for this book. And beautiful. TCA DC3 over Winnipeg. And there we go. There's my introduction right here. From Lodestars to Jets. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely stunning and beautiful. We've got our table of contents. The introduction explains how the book came to be. As you can see, there's the original manuscripts, and here is Clayton Glenn, right there where my thumb is. That's Clayton Glenn in 1946. He was on board the first flight of the North Star. So that's Clayton himself, right there, and so the book is presented in the chapters that Clayton Glenn himself had written, and as you can see, the book is every single page has lavish color, black and white images and illustrations of the day. Here we have a chapter on the Lockheed airplanes, the Lodestars, of course. And the book is 300 pages. Isn't that? Yeah, here we have Winnipeg Beach in the 40s, Air Canada staff picnic, or TCA staff picnic. Let me see if I can prop the book up any higher so that we can avoid the reflection, because we're getting a reflection. There we go. I think that might be a bit better. So we have staff travel in the early days. Isn't that interesting? For those of you that are airline employees, you'll know about that. CBC interviewing Lancastrian pilots, TCA on celluloid. Here's an article on how they made promotional movies about the airline back in the day. Old Lanky, the Lancaster, TCA Lancaster. Here's a whole section on the TCA Lancaster operation. Several pages of Lancaster operation, actually loaded with pictures and anecdotes and stories. Then we move into the TCA North Star with lots of pictures. Look at that, smoke coming off the wing there, or out of the engines. It's just absolutely beautifully, lavishly illustrated. Then we move into the era of the DC-3. See, TCA. These are old company staff magazines from the 1940s, which contained this interesting information. Wings over the Pacific, Wings of Peace. And then we're into the DC-3 right now, our first DC-3. TCA Liaison Office at Canadair. So now we're moving into the DC-4 North Star story. But as you can see, this is what I believe, there's the Avro jetliner actually, which I was showing you earlier. I believe this book is the most comprehensive, the TCA jetliner. There we go, our first North Star engine run. So again, many of these pictures have never been seen or published before. Some of them have, but most have not. I wanted to have the book to be as unique as it possibly could be. Our first flight of the North Star right there. Our test flight on the North Star. Here we have sections on the Avro jetliner when TCA was considering the purchase of the Avro jetliner. So you've got a chapter on that. And back to Canadair, Clayton was on secondment to Canada Air. Then here we have a whole section on the TCA North Star and its service life, early years of operations with Trans-Canada Airlines. Look at the TCA goes to the Emerald Isle, so the launch of service to Ireland. Whole section on that. North Star over Ottawa. All kinds of historic information on the early North Star operations for TCA. The first North Star on the transcontinental. So these are Clayton's memoirs of all of these historic events. There's so much information on the North Star because it was, look, Operation Fog Bound right there. Glad rags for the North Star. So basically they modified the color scheme. They went from the bare metal to the white, painted white. So they talk about the decision to paint the aircraft white. Look at that beautiful model right there. Gorgeous Perspex model. Our new president of TCA, G.A. McGregor. There you go. So there's G.A. McGregor's first message to the company when he was assigned as president of the company. TCA North Star interior configurations, TCA route network, more information on the North Star and Canadian skies. New service down to Bermuda. The North Star debut on... this is just absolutely... here we have the story about the cabin supercharger pressurization system on the North Star and the challenges they faced. And then the conversion from the DC-4 Mark I to the Mark II, which was the pressurized version. CD Howe. Look at all this. It's just are you ready for Freddy? Yeah, that's the Godfrey supercharger. The very lavish chapters here on the North Star. Isn't that gorgeous? Winnipeg Airport. As I say, I do not know of any... Oh, then we move to the Connie. Actually, we'll jump up to the Connie. That's right. I don't know of any other book on TCA, Air Canada's history, that is lavishly illustrated and as detailed as this. There may never be another one. I think this is probably the penultimate book on Trans-Canada Airlines. Here we go. New wings for TCA, the Constellation. So we've got very nice images here from Lockheed of the Connie and the competitor at the time, which was the DC-6. And look at it, aren't these beautiful, beautiful images? DC-3 replacement, got Connie models here. The Connie goes into service domestically. These are all publicity pieces on the introduction to service for the Connie. Look at that. Just beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful images of the Connie. Here's Peter V. Nelson, the maker of models, aircraft display models for TCA. There's an article on Peter V. Nelson for you aircraft display model collectors. Then we move to the Vickers Viscount. We move to the Viscount, North American Route Network at the time of Viscount introduction. This is only at a page, center spread of Connie images. So back to the Viscount, all kinds of information. Our first trip to Vickers Weybridge, England, just outside of London. Vickers Viscount 700. Here's when Vickers sent a Viscount over to Winnipeg for cold weather testing. So there's talk about that. The Viscount Polar Expedition, views across the system. It's just page after page of Air Canada TCA history. Beautiful shot on the factory floor. TCA Viscounts. Absolutely amazing, actually. The book goes on and on and on with many, many never before seen photos. And I'll talk about the pictures actually in a bit. And we're into the thick of the Viscount section here. Look at this. It is, as I say, this is the book that I wanted to see in existence, and it didn't exist. Oh, here we go, a section on the Bristol Super Freighter. Short-lived with TCA, just a couple of years. I think it was 1954 and 1955. TCA had, I think, a trio of Bristol freighters. They didn't last long because they were kind of a bit of a unique operation in terms of cargo. But, yes, so, oh boy, I'm just I'm so excited I had to just jump ahead. But and again, extensive page reach on the Vickers Viscount. Here we go. The name change to Air Canada. It's explained in French to the French employees and French readers as to the logic as to why Air Canada was a better name in terms of dual language compatibility versus Air Canada was, Trans-Canada Airlines was strictly English, but Air Canada was both Français and English. So yeah, just very, and here's an organizational chart from the mid-1950s for the company showing the key executives. Yeah, there we go. The Vickers Viscount versus the 700 series versus the 800 series. Douglas DC-6, Air Canada. TCA did consider the DC-6. They gave it consideration. And then we move, well, look at this. The first talk of the jet era. Look at, this Connie lost a prop in flight. So here's some previously unpublished photos on this incident. Kind of interesting. And now here we're into the jet age. Conway performance determination. Air Canada or TCA did extensive studies on the jetliners, comparing the 707 versus the DC-8. And they decided on the DC-8, and it's explained that in detail why the company went for the Conway-powered, Rolls-Royce Conway-powered DC-8 over the American-built aircraft engines. So yeah, that's an interesting story in its own right. TCA's 1957 in-house analysis of the Conway engine. So lots of, again, loads of DC-8 development stories here. Anticipated air traffic control, jet problems on the Atlantic. There's TCA had a DC-8 runoff at the end of the runway at Heathrow Airport in 1963. No fatality, no injuries, but here's the accounting of that incident. And then we have the Vickers Vanguard, one of my favorite aircraft types. It arrived too late, so it arrived after the first DC-8s went into service, and of course it was obsolete the day it went into service. But it was still a very safe and reliable aircraft for TCA and Air Canada. But this, there we go, yeah. When TCA was evaluating the Vanguard, Canadian Pacific was evaluating the Britannia. So that's explained, the comparisons between the two types, both pistons at the end of the era. We've got schematic diagrams of the Vanguard here. Then TCA also analyzed the Convair 880 jetliner. Engineering and maintenance, 1956. TCA Vanguard continuation. And look at that, the Vanguard wing design. So yeah, very extensive information on the Vanguard, Vanguard photo spread, Vickers Vanguard, and look at this. Just all the photos just are nonstop. They go on and on and on, actually. So for those of you that are lover, and then here as we move towards the end of the book, we've got the DC-8s, the analysis on the DC-8s, and look at that. Washington Dulles Airport opening. TC-8, DC-8 was on hand. That's kind of nice. So yeah, many of these images have never been seen before, and hearing the story of the evolution of aircraft fleet evaluation at TCA, as told by Clayton Glenn in his first voice, 707, Caravelle, more Vanguard information, is really quite fascinating. So this book, as you can see, is absolutely the most comprehensive book ever to be published. Oh, the BAC 111 and then DC-9 727 analysis of the early 1960s, and lots of Viscount information as well. The book is, let's see how many pages it is. I think it might be even a few. Oh, there's our closeout. Our closeout section, a bit of a promo piece here. Henry Tenby social media. How many pages is it? It's 283 pages. So the book is actually a bit larger in terms of pages than Air Travel Time Machine, but this certainly gives you a very good idea as to the extent of this amazing book. So let me just put myself back behind the camera. Okay, so yeah, so this is it. It's from Lodestars to Jets. It's the Clayton Glenn Memoirs. And I'd like to tell you guys that I actually have been interested in Air Canada's history for a very, very, very long time. As a matter of fact, this is the spring 1984 issue of the Captain's Log, and I wrote this cover article on the history of Air Canada back in late 1983. So this is, I'll just give you, so yeah, so here we go. Trans-Canada Airlines, Air Canada, by Henry Tenby. I wrote this in 83, and at the time, well, this is, yeah, we've come a long way, right? But this was a very basic publication produced by the World Airline Historical Society. And I was in contact with Air Canada's Public Affairs Office at Vancouver International Airport. In the early 80s, they had a fully staffed PR office at Vancouver, and they supplied me with a large number of black and white photos for publication. And of course, I've owned them for a very, very long time. So many of these images, well, some of them have been seen before, some of them haven't, but they gave me a huge amount of publicity images. And this book has given me the opportunity to share a lot of these, historic images with the world. For whatever reason, over the decades, Air Canada TCA, they would tend to publish and share the same image over and over and over again. So you wouldn't actually get to see the full extent of all the juicy images that were in their historic archive. But they did have literally thousands of these images. Now, as I say, I was lucky enough to get some of them. Probably several hundred of them I got in the early 80s, and I still own them. And this book gave me the opportunity to put these images to use and to share them with the world. So the book is available on my website, henrytenby.com. I've also got the link, the purchase link. It's a pre-order link contained in the description of this video. Now, the books are presently on their way to here. I'm expecting them here the latter part of the year or early January. So hope to be able to ship them to customers probably in a few months' time. Not sure if it's going to be in time for Christmas. It might be, the early part of the new year, but at least you have the opportunity to pre-order your book. And as soon as the books arrive, I will advise you by email that your book is on its way. So the books will be shipped from here, Vancouver, BC, Canada, as well as we have a fulfillment center in the United States as well. So if you'd like to get a copy of your book, if you'd like to reserve a copy of your book, the link is in the item description field, and would definitely be looking forward to seeing your book order. This book, I suspect it might sell out quite quickly. As I say, we only published 400 of them instead of the it's 200 less than the Air Travel Time Machine book. So One Geek Girl has posted the purchase link into the chat right now. So what else can I tell you guys? Yeah, it's just, this has been my documenting and saving and preserving the history of our national airline, Air Canada, Trans-Canada Airlines, has been a life passion of mine for 45 years. And this life passion has translated it into this book. And I'm really pleased with what I see. As I say, this book is something that I have wanted to own for the last 35 years, and it didn't exist. So I figured I would be the guy to make it happen. And without Clayton Glenn's Memoirs, of course, it would be a far less interesting book. We've all read the basic history of Trans-Canada Airlines time and time again. That is not this book. This book is Clayton Glenn's Memoirs. Clayton Glenn was actively involved in the aircraft evaluation, fleet analysis, and engineering undertakings associated with the purchase of all the great airliners of TCA. So the stories that he tells in this book, you will have not read anywhere else. It will all be new information to you, and there'll be some very revealing, even shocking information that you'll read, especially when it comes to the manufacturers. The manufacturers of airliners in the 1950s, it was a very different game than in what it is today. And you'd be very surprised to learn who the leaders were in the business and who weren't the leaders. And there was a lot of distrust of those that were not the leaders. And Clayton explains that, and it's absolutely fascinating reading. Companies that built military aircraft that were trying to muscle into the commercial aviation business, the airlines of the world didn't trust them. So there's a whole bunch of reasons for that, and Clayton explains that. And of course, it's ancient history, but it's fascinating history. So I hope you'll consider purchasing the book. Thanks for watching. I do appreciate it. It'll be probably the end of the year, early 2025, when we have the books on hand. But please do consider reserving your copy by placing a pre-order for the book. It'd be a great Christmas gift, albeit maybe a bit late. Well, thanks for watching. What can I say? Thanks again, everybody. Wishing everybody all the best. I'll continue to do promotional videos on the book, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the next video. So thanks again, everybody. Wishing you all the best. Have a good weekend. Bye for now.